Bill and I moved here from Atlanta, Georgia. He was in the hotel business, and we moved 14 times. In fact, we moved 13 times, and the 14th was here. And that was very traumatic for me. Coming from the South, you know, I could pronounce grits but couldn't pronounce guacamole, and I was used to oak trees, and then I went to saguaro cactus, and it was just a huge change for me, not only cultural but also emotional. I had learned to pack my emotions and my feelings well in that suitcase for 13 moves. So this 14th move kind of completely unraveled me. But I would say that when we moved to Scottsdale, the pilgrimage of the depth of our growth began at Scottsdale Bible. Bill and I were very involved in marriage ministry. We had small groups in our home. We did a lot of marriage teaching. Bill was an elder and at one time chairman of the elders. I served in women's ministry and sang in the choir. And this church became our home and became our family, and actually started a ministry here. My ministry just moved, which is now international, and deals with women who are hurting and who have been uprooted through loss and change. So I understand what change is all about. Our circle of friends and family grew in this church, and little did I know that the day would come when this church and all that I have poured out into it would begin then to minister to me in the depth of my despair. I lost Bill 3 years ago, and I went through, after 45 years of marriage, the biggest change I'll ever experience. But what am I going to do with that? Am I going to close down and say, I'm going to stay in this box, or am I going to embrace change? Am I going to welcome change? I feel like that God has me in process, and I think that's the beauty of our walk with Jesus, is that it is a process. And this church has left, and when I say this church, I don't mean the bricks and mortar of this church. The people of this church have left an impact of Christ on my life, and on my children's life, and on my husband's life. And I want to leave a legacy in the next young couple's life. I want their marriage to grow. I want them to grow spiritually. So those are the kinds of things that I see in the future, and why I embrace Compelled by Grace. In fact, I've already started praying about my part in it, my part in the legacy. And God has said, okay, Susan, you're on a limited budget, but you can do it. And I can hear Bill's voice saying, you go for it. And I am all about wrapping my heart and my life around the vision at Scottsdale Bible. My name is Susan Miller, and this is my story. And more importantly, this is my church.